Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshua, Ba'ashem HaKodesh. Giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, shalom and salutation. To all you sincere occupants across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasam God from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshua, Ba'ashem HaKodesh, and feed the elect. Now, this is going to be a quick edition of the Watchtower. And basically just an update on what's going on and what to expect. All right, as you already know, the main news right now across the globe is the fact that Russia has basically undergone the invasion of Ukraine, starting off with, of course you have basically you have areas like Donbass and stuff that basically proclaim independence in their way. So once they started doing that and saying that they don't want to be a part of Ukraine, although their territory is in Ukraine, they immediately asked for Russia to help them, which was all set up. All right. The Russians, they knew what the hell they were doing. So there's a lot of deals that goes behind closed doors because you just can't. The move that Russia did is all political. It's all within rules as far as, if you have a nation, if you recognize a particular area as a nation, as an independent nation, and that area all of a sudden, that so-called independent nation all of a sudden asks for help, then you have the legal right to go in there and move in, so that's the pretext, set up by Gog and Magog in the Bible, as known as the modern day Medes, all right, Russia. So that was the pretext. That was the only way Russia was going to be able to get down in Ukraine to make sure they sent a strong message to NATO, known in the scriptures as the beast, to let to basically send a message to NATO that, hey, you're not going to be in my backyard. You're not going to use a nation that's kind of beefing with me and kind of move in there into my backyard and have your weapons pointed at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make moves as well. So that's basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? So Ukraine is kind of like the nation caught in the middle. And Russia's not sitting back anymore. So they're making moves. All right. But they're doing it in a legal way. You just got to know what's going on. You can't just buy into, the United States propaganda machine, and Biden and all that. That's just all propaganda. So now, but besides that, what I want to go into is what's going on, what's getting ready to happen. Because what's getting ready to happen with this whole situation going on between Russia and Ukraine is there's something going on behind this. And it has to do with this individual that you see right here, the Sith Lord. All right. People say, well, damn, I keep calling him Sith Lord. There's a reason why. All right. Now, you can say, well, that's a movie. That ain't got nothing to do with real life. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a saying. Life imitates art far more than art imitates life. And this was a saying from Oscar Wilde, and that's true. Life imitates arts far more than art imitates life, because a lot of the art is based on what life is going to be. A lot of the art is predictive programming. It's kind of like prophecy from the left-hand side. All right, a movie like Star Wars was kind of like prophecy from the left-hand side on certain details of things that was going to go on. All right. So now let's listen to Mr. Klaus Schwab. All right. The leader of the World Economic Forum and also the leader of the Young Global Leaders Organization. All right. And this is what he said back in July 8, 2020. All right. Listen to what he said.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
Okay. Now, as you heard, right? You heard the Sith Lord, Darth Klaws. All right. Basically, he's letting you know, and that was 2 years ago, to beware of a cyber attack. All right. A possible cyber attack that would place and the potential and the disaster that would bring forth will make on the C-19 events that we've been going through, look like child's play. All right. And then, of course, the situation happens over there in the East. All right. In Eastern Europe with Russia and the Ukraine. And then this is the news. It says CNN, and then not just CNN, Reuters. It says what? U.S. braces for Russian cyber attacks as Ukraine conflict escalates. Here's how that might play out. All right. And then you have out of Reuters, Ukraine computers hit by data wiping software as Russia launch invasion. AP. All right, this is the AP. It says cyber attacks accompany Russian military assaults on Ukraine. So you have it's not a coincidence. There's no such thing as a coincidence. It's this propaganda machine. This whole thing was set up. All right, it was set up, and this is what we really have to look forward to. All right, because the situation going on in Eastern Europe is going to get hot, but it's not going to lead to a third world war. All right, and I stated that in one of the videos that I made that I wouldn't be shocked. I actually envisioned, Russia making a move that they're making, because when you go into the scriptures in Ezekiel 39, when you go into the scriptures in Ezekiel 39, it kind of goes not all the way in detail, but in the spirit, Ezekiel kind of speaks about some of these things that's going on. So basically, what we have to look, because Matthew, Mark, and Luke told you that although you're going to hear these rumors of wars, be not, that the end is not by and by, because there's certain things that have to happen within nations. Great nations shall rise against nations. So you're going to have multiple wars that's going to start. You're going to have China invading Taiwan, all these different places, all these big nations. All these big nations are going to start to swallow up little nations in preparation for the ultimate war, the final war, which is the Third World War. But within the nations, what we got to look forward to, what's getting ready to go down, that's going to trigger the collapse of society and all these individual nations, including the virgin daughter of Babylon, the United States of America, is this right here, which Klaus Schwab, right, the Sith Lord, spoke of and predicted and prophesied, right? Because the prophesy means to say before is what? It's cyber attacks. So you're going to start seeing the gas prices. First of all, the gas price is going to shoot up, all right, because a lot of the pipelines, the Keystone pipeline has been shut down. The pipeline in the east and Israel was shut down, and Nord Stream 2 was shut down. So now it's going to be an energy. You're going to have a huge energy crisis, all right, and then you're going to have forces such as the CIA, FBI, all these different forces, all these different organizations of intel, right? They're going to make moves. And then, of course, when they produce these cyber attacks that's going to shut down society and blackouts and different things, they will blame Russia. They will blame, so prepare yourself for the propaganda machine to come out and speeches blaming Russia for the upcoming cyber attacks that's going to hit different places across the world, not just the United States. So and that's going to affect your billing, like I said, your billing, your energy, the gas prices, your job, your cities. I mean, so, and this is a warning for the elect, because the Heavenly Father's turning up the heat. He's turning up the heat, man. We're in full force going into the latter part where things are going to be super, super serious, and there's going to be greater damages and greater effect, in particular on you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you Israelites that are heavily still dependent on Edom, Esau, the devil that the Bible speaks of, his system. All right. So beware, man. There's going to be some heat coming. There's going to be some chaos when the cyber attacks hits and all these different organizations that people survive on collapse. The cities are going to be chaotic, man. The cities are going to turn into nightmarish road warrior type scenarios, blackouts, It's going to be nuts, all right? And like I said, this is what we have to look forward to for the next. And it's crazy. The Passover is right around the corner, which is usually a time where a lot of, either before or after the Passover, you have great catastrophes, death and destruction, all right? So, it's time to really get serious, man. And some things is getting ready to pop off, all right? And that's what I want to bring forth, man. Let me conclude with some precepts. This is Psalms chapter 6. Well, actually, let me start it. Psalms chapter 64:1. It says the subtitle, Prayer for Deliverance from Secret Enemies. All right. Secret enemies like Klaws, Schwab, which he's nothing but a sub leader of the darkness. Because really, at the very top of this thing is the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller, and they both control Biden and Putin, man. Do not get it mistaken, man. Putin is somebody who has shown up to the World Economic Forum. He's showing up to the young global leaders. He's been in those places. He's spoken to these men. So you don't know what kind of deal he got going on. A lot of these leaders, you may think that they're in opposition. They're opposition to the elites. Like you look at Winston Churchill of Britain, this acclaimed hero who was fighting against so-called fighting against Hitler, but the whole time he was funded by the Rothschild, just like Hitler was funded by the Rothschild. You got General Charles de Gaulle of France, right? When he basically ordered the French armies to stand down to allow Hitler to move in and take over France. Why the hell did he do that? Because he had money. The Rothschilds put money in his pocket, just like the Rothschild put money in Hitler's pocket. Where you think Hitler got all the funds to get all this army to travel from world to world and put all the train tracks? There's no way Germany was able to come up with that type of bread to start a war that big. Of course, they had a machine behind them, just like all these nations that just sat down and let Hitler, just walk all over him. They were paid to stand down. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in history, man, and it's happening now again. But if you don't know, you don't know. You're just going to swallow what the propaganda machine is going to put out there for you zombies, for you blue pill. But when you spiritually red pill, you know what's going on. You know what time it is, all right? So Psalm 64:1 to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power, and my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. All right. Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. The words that came out of that man's mouth, man, Klaus Schwab, about how people going to be devastated by the cyber attack. Because he's talking about mass death. But see, he's been salivating for that. You have to understand the elites are angry at the fact that the majority of people are still alive. Like they want at least 2/3 of the planet to die. And every time they wake up and you alive, it eats them. In particular, the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Hispanics. The fact that we exist twists their stomach every day, man. So you have to understand who you're dealing with. All right. And I'm going to finish with this. This is Psalm 6:10. Let all my enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. All right. So basically, man, that's that. Hey, listen, the Heavenly Father is going to make sure his elect, the 144,000 and 1/3 are protected, saved, and first of all, warned. That's why we're here in the watchtower, man, watching, edifying, giving Israel the scoop, man. Kal halam la Yahweh Bashim, double honor to our apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom.